Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to episode 36 of the Respect Our Decision podcast. As always, I'm your boy Hirsch, and with me is the hype man Wes.
What's good? What's good?
And CJ the man McCann.
What's going on?
Hey, Gator Nation. It is a busy week for Florida football, Florida sports in general, man. A lot of stuff going on this week. Basketball recruiting's getting a couple of big-time recruits in for the basketball team. We got a brand new NIL coming out this week for the Florida Gators, just announced yesterday. We're going to talk about that later in the show. Make sure y'all hang around if you haven't heard any of the details on that yet. But, man, spring game is tomorrow night. Tons of recruiting news going on for the Gators right now. So we're going to jump right into it here in a minute, man, and talk about it all. But first, as always, guys, make sure you go out there and check us out and download the episode wherever you get your podcast from. And if you're new here and you haven't already, hey, man, show some class. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like watching us on YouTube better. We're doing a giveaway right now, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, now's a good time. CJ, why is it a good time to subscribe to the channel?
Because if you are watching us on YouTube, you'll see this lovely hat that I am wearing. We're going to be giving away one of these hats from our friends at Alma Mater, local Gators apparel store. And we're going to be giving it away if you subscribe and like and comment on one of the videos that we post this month. You got to do all three. No sliding through. No, we're going to check. We're going to make sure. You got to make sure that you do that. You can post any comment you want, whether it's you can tell us nasty things. I'm just here for the hat.
Hey, a guy even said that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just here for the hat. That's fine. Just leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to our channel. It's going to help us out a ton, and you can be entered to win a free hat. And who doesn't like free stuff?
I like free stuff, baby. I'm cheap. I got to have that free stuff.
Free 99.
So, guys, make sure, hey, jump right on it. Right over to YouTube. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you get a notification every time we upload new content. Going to be a lot of stuff coming this weekend. Our goal this week is to drop an episode Friday as kind of our own raw recap of the spring game and any kind of recruiting nuggets that might come out of it, which we're hoping to have a few really good ones. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. And as always, guys, if you would like to support us as creators, make sure you go check out our Patreon at Respect Our Decision. We appreciate anyone and everyone that supports us now, guys. We just want to bring y'all more and more content, and that's what we're looking to do here in the future. And before we jump into it, guys, as we always say, man, remember, we're partnered with Prize Picks. You see it running on the line below if you're checking us out on YouTube, which you should be. Guys, it's a great time to join Prize Picks, man. Major League Baseball season in full swing. NBA playoffs just kicking up. Atlanta Hawks last night dispatched those Miami Heat. I know y'all going to hate me for that, but that's all right. You know, it's all love in the end. Guys, make sure you use code RESPECT100 to get your first deposit matched up to $100. Go make that money, man. Daily fantasy made easy with Prize Picks. All right, guys. Hey, it's another week, another commitment. Billy and the boys have done it again, man. I feel like we just talk about this every episode now, guys. It's kind of like a ringing theme. This week's new commitment, Kahnen Daniels, running back out of the state of Mississippi. Kahnen Daniels, 5'11", 190 pounds, out of West Point, Mississippi. Currently ranked number 358 overall in the composite. Just recently accepted an invite to the Army All-Star game out there in Texas that's held every January. So that's a great honor for that young man. Guys, we got to talk about this young man. He is a monster from the stat sheet. I mean, you know, you never know what they're going to be when they get on campus. But goodness gracious almighty, this kid, you talk about being the centerpiece of a team's offense. 203 carries, 2,027 yards, and 24 touchdowns last year. And if that wasn't enough, his sophomore season, 94 carries for 1,025 yards and 8 touchdowns. 3,000 total yards already on just under 300 carries. Wes, you're the 24 hype man. What you think about the pickup of Kahnen Daniels as running back 2?
I love it, man. Anytime you got, I don't care if you're the quarterback doing in high school, whatever. If you get 10 yards of carry, I mean that's just phenomenal. And we already got Bowens in the class as RB1, and we already knew that we were taking a second running back. And this is the type of guy that you would want as your running back two in the class. I trust our running back evaluations, just like I compared that to the 2020 Corey Raymond evaluation as far as corners. I'm going to trust them. They know what they're doing. We saw Montreal come over with the staff last year and translate to SEC football, and he looked like he belonged. We talked about Elijah Mitchell, a guy that they put in the NFL that runs in Kyle Shanahan's offense for the 49ers. So this system with this staff knows running backs. And if they think this guy is a good running back too, then I'm going to trust them. Same thing with ETN when they wanted him last year. And they were like, well, he's not as highly rated or he's not as good as his brother. We saw what that kid did as a true freshman. So when it comes to this staff and evaluating the running back position, I don't think anyone should be questioning it. And when you're averaging 10 yards per pop, every time you touch the ball, that's the first down. I mean, that's special. I don't care what level you're playing on. I love the kid. The kid's film looks good. And to be running back too, we knew we were going to take two running backs regardless this year. And I love what this kid brings as far as RB2. It's kind of hard to get two high caliber running backs in the class. But with Bowens and we knowing him, he's going to rise. This is a good field for the class.
CJ, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that like there's a lot of being made about him being a quarterback or whatever. I mean, but if you watch their offense, you'll realize he's just as much of a running back as anything. And I mean, I saw this a lot based on like what I saw with my high school team. We ran the veer. We had quarterbacks that would go into high school would go from high school playing quarterback to immediately just play running back because it's basically what they were doing already. Case in point is Adam Choice, who played at Clemson. He was a quarterback for my high school team, but he ended up being a pretty good running back for Clemson. If you watch some of Daniels' film, it's not like he's running like an outside scheme where he's just running around the edge and out athleting people. He's finding the zone, he's finding the gap in the offensive line, and he's hitting the hole and making those kind of runs, which is what you would want to see from a running back. So I wouldn't put too much real stock into being worried about, oh, he's a quarterback running a wildcat or running a veer or whatever. I don't think that really matters. I think the guy's got good vision. He's got good size. He's putting up great number in the top level of competition in the state of Mississippi. So I think it's a good pickup. I think he's only going to rise in the rankings. I think that you could see that by his offer list starting to really grow and flourish. I think that you're going to see a lot of that come full circle. I think you're going to see a lot of teams try to take him away through his senior season. I think you're going to see a lot of teams that are going to hop on late and try to get him, which is what we've already seen with Bowens. Yeah, I think the guy's just going to get better. He's still got a whole season of football left to play in high school, and I believe what I understand, he's going to be truly playing running back this season for his high school. So that might boost his status just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, make no mistake about it. The kid threw. I mean, he only threw for 500 yards as the quarterback, but that to me screams that the coach knew he had an elite athlete and got the most out of him. So I don't have a problem with if you like you said, if you watch his tape, and we put his junior highlights on our Twitter page. If you haven't subscribe, not subscribed, but if you're not following us on Twitter at Respect Our DCN. We put up a list of his we put up the highlight tape, and the kid has tremendous field vision. He sees the hole, cuts to it, and then eludes tackler. All the tacklers in the hole. He's got some long strides. Takes some very long strides. He looks a bit slow on the tape, but it's just he's a very long striding kid. So, shout out to Coach Jaluk as usual. The man just, the kid had one of the hardest lines I think I've ever seen after committing.
Yeah.
Saying I came up in the mud, so it was only natural that I played in the swamp. I was like, my God. Give me more of that, please. So,
right.
Really excited to see that. I mean, I saw some people already putting it out there. Rivals did a thing about it. Did Kahnen Daniels plus DJ Shockley give the Florida Gators the most dynamic backfield pairing for the 2024 class?
DJ who?
Lagway. Did I say it again?
You said Shockley again.
Man, that's what I get. Like I said before, I grew up watching DJ play under my dad coaching. So that young man sticks in my head all the time. Sorry. Good God Almighty. I'm trying to get people mad. We're going to talk about Mr. Lagway in a second. Guys, another thing that happened here on Monday was Kendall Jackson dropped his top 6. His top 6 consisting of course, Florida, Miami, Texas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. Kendall Jackson, of course, is defensive end out of Buckholz. And right there, Gainesville's own. Currently ranked number 525 in the composite. He'll be at the spring game. I think this one is pretty much a slam dunk for the Gators and more of a when is this going to happen than if it's going to happen. So I might even look for this one to pop maybe in the next 48 hours. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. Another big time visitor we had earlier this week was Wardell Mack, defensive back, cornerback, specifically out of Louisiana. Wardell Mack, the number 108 player in the composite, another top flight corner coming to visit Corey Raymond. Now, we always know pulling a player of that caliber out of the state of Louisiana, you're kind of spitting into the wind there on that one. But as we know, Coach Raymond does have a lot of ties in that area. So if there's any coach I feel confident that could possibly pull this kid, it would be Coach Raymond. Not betting on it, not going to bet on it, but it's always good to get the visit. And some have said that maybe, Florida's right there neck and neck with LSU, but we'll see, man. That Louisiana connection always seems to pull. Real bit of not so great news. We always want to kind of mix in the good and the bad. We don't want to sit here and sunshine pump the recruiting efforts all the time. We talked about him last week, was real excited about the young man coming on a visit. Nitro Tuggle, the wide receiver out of Indiana. He came down for a visit a week or so ago. Really liked the visit, but those damn dogs, man. He committed to Georgia on Tuesday. Not great news, Bob. CJ, what are your thoughts on that? I know you know that this was kind of an uphill battle, though.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like the recruiting offer. We got in late, we got in really late on Nitro Tuggle. He was not on our radar until Billy Gonzalez got here. So I think that we were kind of just behind. I think we made up a lot of ground in the time, but Georgia had been recruiting him way longer than we had. They'd already had the connection, the relationship. You started to press him, and I think, Kirby was like, hey, look, that Gainesville stuff ain't going to fly with me. You can either commit to us or we're done here. And I think he was like, that's a national championship football team. They've been recruiting me for a while. They noticed me a long time ago. I'm going to go ahead and take that shot and go ahead and go to Athens. But I wouldn't say we've seen way too much stuff here recently with just things happening, things flipping. If the staff really believes in Nitro and really believes that he could be a difference maker, I'm sure we're going to keep recruiting him up until he signs. You might change his mind. We saw that with, kind of similar to where we were with Jaden Robinson last year. Different positions, maybe a little different, kind of situation. But, you got him. He committed to South Carolina right as we got into the mix there. South Carolina had already been recruiting him pretty hard. But we get into the mix there at the end, and he was like, you know what, I really just want to go to Florida. I don't, I was loyal to South Carolina. They had recruited me longer, but he changed his mind. So, you can see that happen again if we really did make that kind of impression on him. And then the board's still got plenty of wide receivers on it to get. And we're not so desperate for wide receiver help coming up now when you've added 3 really big pieces to your offense last year, wide receiver. You're maybe looking for maybe 2 or 3 more this year. They're not all going to be superstar, 5-star wide receivers. But we'll see where we're at. You still have Craver, you still have Moore on the board, so Chance
And
Robinson's still on the board for
and
the
Jaree Hawkins out of
right.
IMG.
And there's guys that are still there. So we'll just see how it plays out.
Wes.
Yeah, it was kind of a kick in the you know what, if you want to be frank. Especially when a kid just came off a visit. You will hope that will buy you some time. But this is the thing that we talked about that our staff has to do as well. You got to shut stuff down. Yeah, Kirby, he's not there. Georgia's not Ohio State where they're putting receivers in the league or anything like that. So you can't say it's that, but maybe like you alluded to, her championship squad coming off to they were recruiting before us, so we got in there kind of late. But that's what you do, and sometimes you got to get credit where credit's due, and what we're trying to emulate. Shut the recruitment down. We have to. That's what closing is all about, and that's what Corbett did. Like CJ alluded to, we're not playing this Gainesville stuff. Either you go take it or I'm moving on. And that's the type of with recruits like that. Even though I like this kid like a lot, I really like him. But he's not highly rated, so he's not like Jeremiah Smith or a Trader or somebody like that, where you can be like, all right, I'll wait it out with you. No, Kirby said, hey, if you don't commit now, or if you're going to play this game, then go ahead, play the game, but you won't be back in Athens. And that's, in my mind, I'm thinking that's what happened. So it hurt, but we still got some guys on the board. I would like to see the wide receiver position get picked up a little bit more. We need to commit here. Hopefully soon, at least one guy that make me feel good about it. But I know Billy's just getting his feet wet, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, like CJ alluded to, we got a lot of wide receiver bodies coming in and out. I really like where we stand on a couple of them. TJ Moore being one, we're in really good shape there, I believe. DJ tweeted towards him yesterday. I don't know if he's visiting for the spring game or not. I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up. But we're going to talk about who is visiting, who we know for a fact currently is visiting. One, DJ Lagway. Yes, that DJ Lagway. I'll get it right. You know what I mean? DJ's bringing a couple of Texas boys with him, though. One, Colin Simmons, 5-star defensive end. Wes's new pick to click, man, I think.
Yeah. He's him.
Colin Simmons, we've been talking about him for several weeks now. Colin is a big-time guy, but this is going to be a battle with Texas and Texas A&M. This is big boy recruiting. He's going to be spending a lot of time with DJ, and he's going to be spending a lot of time with this next guy we're going to talk about, and there's a lot of hype around him. We've talked about him several times. Safeties. Xavier Filsaime is coming for another visit. He's bringing his whole family with him, and when I mean his whole family, I mean his whole family. He's rolling deep, 3 vehicles deep of family members coming in. And just today, if you follow us on Twitter, you would have seen Steve Wiltfong put in a crystal ball prediction for the Gators to land Xavier Filsaime. And there is a lot of hype going on right now. You've probably heard it, that this could be the time that the X-Man goes ahead and pops for the Gators. I think we're all pretty much in agreement that that's probably about to go down. Would be a tremendous ad for Corey Raymond and the Gators at a position of dire need. We need a big body 5-star caliber safety. It's been a long time since we had one. Kamari Wilson right there on that, cusp. But this kid is dynamite, and it would be awesome to go ahead and get that ad and get the momentum just cranking, man. There's nothing more that would just really fire up the recruiting week and weekend than to get this kid to maybe pop tomorrow night. CJ, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I've been on the Xavier Filsaime train for a long time. I mean, he's a great player. I'm going to call him a 5-star safety. 247 has him as a 5-star. He's 6/1000ths of composite points wherever you get those away from being a 5-star. So to me, he's that kind of guy. You look at his film, He's a great safety. The guy just attacks it. He gets after it. He's a great player in a position of need. This would be a huge win for Corey Raymond on the recruiting trail. Kind of take some of the stink off of what happened last year with he who shall not be named. And it just give us a lot of momentum, especially for the spring game. You need something like that to happen. When you've moved it and your whole recruiting pitch is we're going to move the spring game to a Thursday because it's going to help us recruit. And this would be kind of showing you like this is what we're doing. So hopefully, not only that, I hope that maybe Filsaime committing, if he is committing, or any of these guys are committing, is going to have like a ripple effect with the other guys who are there. Kind of like, oh wow, that guy's committing. He's coming here. He must. I'm having a great time. I'm looking at the Heavener Center. I'm looking at the fireworks going off. I'm looking at the big video board. I'm loving this place. They got pretty girls all over this campus. I'm staying here. So you could see that these kids, they get wrapped up in the excitement, and that's kind of the hope right now. Is just to get maybe one or two big time commits while they're there, and let that have a ripple effect on some of the other kids that are also visiting.
Yeah, and like I said, these three Texas boys are going to be hanging together close. So, hey, you got DJ that's already in the fold. Excuse me. You add Xavier. Colin, you're next, baby. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Come on, join us, man. Let's go. It could happen. It might not happen. It's like I said, but this is the kind of environment that Billy has been trying to create in these situations to make that happen. Even if you get like a Kendall Jackson wrapped up, like we just said, Kendall Jackson might decide, hey, this is as good a time as any, man. I'm ready to go, coach. Can we do it? Yeah, man. Next thing you know, you got to tweet out or an edit out. Just a few minutes ago, actually, Kahnen Daniels tweeted out that he's going to be in the swamp for the spring game. So that means every committed prospect, as far as we know, is planning as of now to be in the swamp. Miles Graham's coming down. Hayes is going to be there. Chauncey's going to be there. So once again, we saw this last year on these big weekends, Billy and company getting all the commits to come for these big weekends to really try to wrap these kids up to become part of something. Hey, man, we're a family over here. We're building something. We're building a real unity together. We're always here. Every time we have these big events, we're all going to be here. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to get close, be part of the family.
Right.
And I really, really buy into that. Some more visitors. Well, there's not a ton of names out there right now, guys. And that's something else the staff has really done something about, is keeping things real quiet until the last minute or as long as possible. So maybe other schools that are interested in these kids aren't calling them up and saying, oh, man, don't go there. Come on. We got this going on. Come for this. But Stacey Gage, running back, is coming. Stacey's kind of falling down the list a little bit for Florida Gator running back recruiting. As we know, we've already got two in the house. So at this point, I would think he's only maybe a backup plan anyway. If one of those kids wasn't to end up in the class, I think it's going to be real hard to take three running back recruits. You're probably going to look for a kid in the portal, because if and when Montrell Johnson leaves after this season, that room is going to be very young with the outside of Trevor. Few 2025 prospects. One in particular, Ben Hanks Jr., going to be in town for the spring game. Gator legacy. Running back Anthony Rogers at IMG tweeted out that he was going to be in the swamp this weekend. He's a top 100 running back for the 2025 class. I really got a feeling you're going to see a contingency of IMG come for the game. They like to bring those kids as a group. So you might see several IMG kids in the house tomorrow night. And as I said, guys, we're gonna be doing an episode Friday, our raw reaction from what we saw in the spring game and any recruiting news that pops out, including maybe visitors that we weren't expecting, big names that may show up, any kind of commitments. We're gonna break them down. So make sure you tune in for that on it'll be probably late Friday or early Saturday morning for that episode to hit. And, guys, I mean, the spring game is here, man. Live, football that kind of is worth watching. So we're going to talk about the spring game for just a minute. We're going to jump right into it. Guys, I know we've talked about this a little before. It was one of the questions in our Pod of the People a week or so back. And I'll start with you, Wes. I know these are kind of easy answers on one account, but I want you to kind of be kind of selective about it. What are you looking for out of the spring game?
The one thing I'm looking for is I feel like the most important thing to me is I'm looking for the team to be in year 2, if that makes sense. I want organization. I don't want a lot of pre-snap penalties, like offensive lineman jumping, defensive lineman jumping, that type of thing. I know they're going to be amped. They've been working out all year, and then, well, not all year, for the last couple of weeks, and then you get out on the field and you get antsy, and I understand that you want to let all that out now that you're able to shine in the spring game, but I want to see a lot of those penalties not be there. I want to see a team that looks professional in that sense, and so that's what I mean by the pre-snap penalties as far as offensive linemen and defensive linemen. But I just want to see a good steady game. Like it's a glorified scrimmage, as people want to call it. Like I have warned fans as far as our defense, if we're giving up stuff, it's because we're maybe in like a base coverage. It's geared towards the offense. The defense is probably maybe in like a cover 2 or a cover 3 type thing where they don't change to fit whatever they see on offense and just let offense do some things. So don't be like, oh, look, what is wrong with our secondary? What is Corey Raymond doing? What is Armstrong doing? That is the thing I want to warn fans about going into the game. So you have a lot of that. Oh, we look just like last year. So that I'm not worrying about. I just want to see the offense look like, being that I know what's going to happen on the defense, except for the defensive linemen. I just want to see the offense look professional. I want to see Mertz and Miller be accurate. If somebody's wide open, I want them to hit the guy that's wide open. So that's what I'm looking for.
CJ, I know no injuries is a big one for you. So
Yeah, that's the main one for me. Like, I don't want anybody to get hurt, man. Like, we can't afford a whole bunch of injuries, man. We've already got like a huge one with Mazuka being hurt. You lost weights and early on
With Achilles.
with an Achilles, yeah, like that kind of stuff. You don't want to see like Ricky Pearsall re-aggravate something. We last year we didn't see Jack Miller get in until the bowl game because he was out for the whole year with a messed up thumb. So like, I don't want anybody getting hurt. Like I want the guys to be safe. I don't care what the score is. I'm not worried about it. We've still got more practices and more work to do. I want to see these recruits have a good time, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. And that's if we can get out alive, we get out unscathed, I'll call it a win.
Yeah, no injuries is a big one, obviously. I mean, we really want to try to get out of this thing healthy, but you also got to gauge what you got. And I'm on board with Wes. I want to see that year 2 improvement, man, especially on the defense. I want to see that Armstrong and the gang have got that there's better communication amongst the units, and guys know where they're supposed to be. I understand that a lot of young guys playing. It's not the best gauge in the world, but you can tell. You can tell little things. Yeah. You can tell that guys know where to line up. You can tell if DBs know what coverage they're supposed to be in, things of that nature. And I like I said, I think I said last week in an episode that I'd love to see the secondary be a little more aggressive. I'd like to see, obviously we have a high standard for our secondary here at Florida, and I really want to see us getting back to that. And I have no doubt that Coach Raymond, now coaching the entire secondary, is really going to put his footprint on that. And you're going to see, and there's every time you turn around, there's a new video of Coach Armstrong out there just hyping up, man. And that dude is he is a player's coach. Those kids seem to really just love this man. They're gravitating towards him. But then you watch another video of him breaking down defenses and you realize, my God, this guy gets it. He knows where every single individual on that defense, what they're supposed to be doing. I just want to see it conveyed to the field and the defense really showing that they're grasping this new not totally new concept that he's brought to the table, but energy level I'd really like to see, transferred over. So, guys, like I said, we're going to talk about everything spring game on this episode. We're recording Friday night, Raw Reaction spring game. So make sure y'all tune in for that. But, guys, real quick, man, we got to talk about it. There's a changing of the guard with Florida Neil, and we're about to talk about it real quick. NIL. Boom. Florida victorious. Florida victorious was announced yesterday right around 12 o'clock. Florida victorious it's not a rebranding. They have bought out the Gator Collective, and they will be the new face of Florida NIL. They are being run by Nate Costas, who is a Florida alumni and a very, very, very solid businessman. If you've not read his list of accomplishments, I urge you to go Google his name and just look at all the stuff. He runs Costas Farms and a lot of other things. Just very, very, the more I read about him, I was just blown away at how good of a businessman he is. CEO Nate Barbera. I've listened to some interviews with him lately. Nick Delatorre had one with him. I mean, I really love the vision that they have here and having this board that they have of people running it. It's so much more. And listen, I'm not taking any shots at Eddie Rojas and company. Eddie started this ball rolling from day one when NIL was put into effect and really ushered in the age of collectives. So shout out to Eddie for all that he did in getting the ball rolling. Somebody had to take the first step. I said it many times in our first episodes that was a job that nobody else was stepping up to the plate for. There weren't people out there just begging like, oh, you know what? Let me go run the Florida Collective. So Eddie did his thing, man, and things got started. And now we have this group taking over. And not only do they have this just great group of businessmen running it, but they have an athlete advisory board composed of former athletes and Florida alumni that range from the very first man on the list, Anthony Richardson. I think that's very cool that AR, being a new age of athlete that has already started and grown up in this NIL age, you have him. You have Gary Condrone, which, if you know, Gary Condrone puts in millions of dollars, including to the baseball stadium that we watch our Florida Gators play in. Hugh Hathcock. We all know about Hugh and what he's done as a booster. Trey Burton, Danny Warfel, Patrick Young, Laura Rutledge. I mean, what a list of names. And I think one of the most impressive things that I saw, they released a video yesterday right after the announcement was made with athletes and coaches in it. But the most impressive thing that I think they did was they got Coach Spurrier in that video to help, lend credence to the Florida victorious. And I think that helps with a lot of the, I don't want to say old folks, but, people that are older than us that might be like, I don't know about this whole NIL thing. But you see Coach Spurrier standing there, in front of the Hibner Center, and he's like, hey, this is a good thing. It helps Florida athletes get on board. I think that is just fantastic. Wes, what are your thoughts on Florida victorious?
Yeah, I think it's a big, giant step in correcting some things that were wrong. Like you said, there's no shot at Eddie for doing what he did. He did a good job as he could do. But this is another step in the right direction. I believe, I don't know if you know, either one of you guys know, but they have don't they have a talk or some special with Laura Rutledge from ESPN hosting soon?
Yes, I believe they do. Like, I'm still trying to catch up with all the details. Okay. Like, there's a lot going on. Like we said at the top of the show, there is a ton going on in Florida sports right now. And golly, I can only feel like I can read so many articles in a day, and I feel like I'm falling behind somewhere else.
I saw it the other day. I saw it yesterday, but I forget the date. But to have someone like Laura doing that, she's the face of NFL Live at 4 p.m., for ESPN, and to have her come back, she's alumni as well, and to have her come back and host and be a part of it, I think that is another major big step in the right direction. Having people like that, people who people trust, and can see every day, and knowing what she is about and who she is major. Some of the other names you may not know, but having, like you said, having her there is a major play, and just this whole thing altogether is just with the leadership that they have in front now is a major step in the right direction for not only the football program but all the Florida sports, whether it's basketball, gymnastics, track and field, all of them can benefit from this, and it's good that they realized that some things were going wrong and they didn't let it continue, but they made the right call on, okay, let's fix this, let's do it the right way, and let's make the changes now before it gets worse. So I'm just thankful that they're doing it the right way now.
Yeah, before CJ, before we get to you, like you're saying, like, a lot of people the last few months have been real hesitant because of the Rashada, situation, and we know how that went, and then how just things went in general, and some of the things that were out there, and people had a lot of doubts. Guys, I'm not obviously a voice strong enough to sit here and say, well, all your doubts should be squashed now. This is a good thing. But I urge you, if you have the time, go read up on it and look at all the people that are involved, and then research those names a little bit, especially, like I said, Nate Costas and yeah, I'm losing my mind here. Nate Costas and Nate Barbera. See, there's two Nates, and that throws me off. And just go read their body of work and what they've done in their professional lives, and realize that these guys know business, and there's a really good structure system involved. CJ?
I think first and foremost, my thing with it, I want to take the time to really thank, like you guys have said about Eddie, also Jen.
Yes,
They
never can say enough about Jen.
Jen has done amazing stuff. When everybody, even when people were doubting it and doubting her, she never lost faith, and neither did Eddie. They kept
Never lost her
pushing.
cool. She
They
always stayed just as
she
cool as
she's
could be.
better than me. She's better than me. When I would remember, her doing putting in all that work and doing all those things, um, to almost no gratitude from a lot of the people, just a lot of doubt. I think this is a great step forward into the realm of this being legitimate. We're still in the early days of NIL, where you're afraid of people like we've mentioned, like the Ruizes of the world, that are kind of like, it feels kind of shady. Like you don't want to donate to something that feels kind of like they're shading. You don't want to get into is something that's not legitimate. This feels like it's people can look at it and feel that it's more legitimate. They don't have to be worried about where their money's going. They don't have to have negative thoughts about like, well, what are they doing with my money? We're not getting this kid and that kid, and I'm donating this money and da, da, da. And it's more. There's more things that are involved. The collective does, and then the now Florida Victorious is going to do as far as like community outreach, community service, um, allowing us access to athletes like we've never had before. This, being able to interview, talk to these kids, interact with them, see them at signings, see them at tailgates, was never even thought of before. Like now, it's a possibility through all the work these people have put in. Um, and I think it's just going to be a positive thing for the university when you see people like Trey Burton who are involved, and you see Anthony Richardson who's involved, and you see Danny Warfel who's involved, and then you see Steve Spurrier on the video. I think that goes a long way with a lot of people, just the casual Joe, saying, "Well, if all my heroes, all these great Gators that I've seen through the years, are really supporting this, then it's got to be worth it. They're not lying to me." It's hard for somebody that you don't really know to sit there and sell you on it. But when you see a guy like Danny Warfel, who's a legend and a hero to so many people, really push this, or Anthony Richardson now, I think it's going to go a lot further. I think people are going to have a lot more confidence in what they're doing, and I think that this is going to really shape the way we're going to do business now for the next for 10, 15 years, um, maybe even longer. Like I said, we're still in the early days of this. We're all still kind of catching our footing, and to now have a not a collective anymore, but like a real honest to God organization that's really making strides and really going to take the steps to put us at the forefront and get us back ahead in the NIL game, and not the sense of like just shady bag deals and things like that. This is legitimately helping athletes. It's rewarding fans. It's rewarding the community in Gainesville. It's just a great program all around to anybody to donate to. I think that this is going to be a massive addition to what we do here.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to be that guy that sits here and says right now, guys, go out there, sign up, plan starting at $15 a month, which is true. It's true. But what I do urge you to do, go to floridavictorious.com, read up on it. Read up on the individuals that I mentioned. If you're still having doubts, like, I don't know, guys, I'm still not sold on this NIL thing. Just do some research. That's all I ask you to do so that you can have peace of mind if you are on the fence about if this is the step you want to take. I really think that once you do a little research into the individuals behind the calls here, you're going to understand that these are great businessmen who have the best for University of Florida in mind and the athletes that this money is going to at the end of the day. All right, guys. Well, it's that time of week again where CJ gets to tell us how the Florida Gators have just humiliated some more baseball teams, and Jack Caglione is, just that more closer to setting Florida Gator records and hitting baseballs farther than Mickey Mantle. CJ, what do you got for us, buddy?
It's always a good week when you get to beat a rival. It's even better when you get to do it twice in a week. We took the series against Tennessee for the first time since 2018. We won a series against Tennessee in their place in the Smoky Mountains. We go up there and we dominate for the first two games. We lose the last one, but you win the series. That's all that matters. Get out of there, win the series on the road. That's a huge deal. Then you beat Florida State last night. So you take the series against Florida State and you win 21 of the last 25 games that you've played against Florida State. We run the state. Miami and Florida State can't touch us in baseball. They might beat us in something else, but they ain't going to beat us in baseball. So just a lot of great things. We're going to play the Dogs this weekend. The Dogs swept us last year. As hard to believe as that is in baseball, the Dogs swept us last year in their place. They're coming to Gainesville this year. You gotta get that series too. I would love to sweep that series, but you got to win that series. It really would hurt you to lose a series to Georgia because they're not only are they your rival, you want to beat them, but they're not a great baseball team. They're an okay baseball team. Maybe but the conference they play in makes them look worse than they actually are. But you really need to just show up and make sure you defend your home place. You want to beat those damn dirty dogs, and it's an important series for those reasons. You don't want to go out like last year, still got a nasty taste in your mouth. We saw it with the Tennessee game, having the post of those buffoons wearing our helmets. I guess they all wanted to be Gators at heart. They all got to wear our helmets for a day. It's like Make a Wish, and you still got a nasty taste in your mouth about that. And I'm sure these guys have the same taste in their mouth about getting swept by Georgia last year. So important series coming up. I'm not sure with the weather shaking out. We might end up playing a doubleheader on Saturday because it looks like it's going to be the only clear day. I think it's going to rain Sunday. We'll see. I think there's some there's a little rumblings going on about maybe Jack Caglione doesn't start at pitcher Sunday. Maybe they try out another guy pitching. Jack hasn't had the best outings on the mound the last couple of times he's been out there. You got to remember Jack's still coming off of Tommy John surgery. He can still throw at 99 miles an hour, but you trying to get that control back is going to be the hard part. So we might see a swap out there. He'll definitely still be in the lineup, of course, as a bat. Can't afford to lose him. Let's see if he can crack open the 20 home run mark this weekend. And I'm excited for it. Anytime you get to beat a rival is a big deal.
If Jack Caglione keeps hitting home runs 488 feet, I don't really care if he pitches or not.
I don't know if that ball's landed yet. I think that thing might still be going.
He was trying to see if the ball could beat the team home, I believe.
I feel bad for whoever's windshield that thing landed in.
Are you going to be boots on the ground this weekend in Gainesville?
It looks like it right now. That's the plan. At least maybe for one of the days, either the Saturday or the Sunday. I'm hoping they do a doubleheader on Saturday because I can just go and sit in the ballpark all day.
All right, we might have to get some video clips. That's the
plan.
At the ballpark.
That's the plan, you guys. I'll show you guys the ice cream and the helmet Sunday.
There we go.
All the great things that are at Conjuring. I'll be sure to get you guys some video of that. Especially for those of you who haven't been yet. I'm going to try to get some pictures and things of me being there. I know that's the plan. I know for sure I'm going to be there for the Vanderbilt series. If something comes up, I'm for sure being at the Vanderbilt series because that's going to be super important. I believe that's going to be in May.
Whew, that's going to be a hell of a series.
That's a massive deal. That might decide the East the way it's going. So
that could decide a lot of things.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's a damn good baseball team this year, like they always are.
All right, guys. Well, guys, hey, it's a busy time for Florida athletics, man, all the way around. Make sure y'all keep y'all's nose on it, man. Keep your ears open. We're going to be fast and furious these next few days. Like I said, if you're not, make sure you're following us on Twitter at RespectOurDCN. And if you're not part of our Facebook group, you can search that as well. Respect Our Decision Facebook group. We put everything in there as well, pretty much that we put on Twitter. We put in that. If you're a Facebook guy, Wes runs that group. I don't really do the Facebook thing. Trying to avoid family and stuff like that.
Farmville request.
Yeah, Farmville. Yeah. Spam videos, buying bulk deals from China and things of that nature. But guys, we appreciate you as always tuning in, man. Busy time, exciting time to be a Gator in so many different ways. We just can't appreciate you all, enough for all that y'all do for us and just engaging with us. Make sure you also tune in this weekend for our newest episode of Pod of the People. That will drop on YouTube either Saturday, late Saturday or early Sunday, probably, depending on when we get the Raw Reaction episode out. That'll be out as well. So, guys, as always, man, we appreciate you so much. CJ, what do you want to say before we jump out of here, man?
Man, just make sure you guys are always supporting us as creators. We have a Patreon up if you'd like to check that out. Make sure that you are following us on Twitter. Got your notifications on over there. Following each one of us on Twitter for general conversation, casual chats, and, of course, the memes and the trolls. Make sure that you subscribe, you like, leave a comment. You're going to be entered to win a free hat. It's a free hat. 5-finger discount, the Jameis Winston special. You guys make sure
Jesus.
You get that.
Ain't no crab legs on that hat.
We're going to be giving it away, man. This is the easiest thing you could do. So just make sure you're doing that, and it's going to help us. Leave your comments. Let us know of any questions you got below. You can send us questions on Twitter. Send us questions on Facebook. Make sure you're interacting with us. Helps us know what kind of job we're doing and what kind of engagement you guys have. And lets us know what you guys want to hear about. What more do you want to know? More about baseball. Maybe you guys want to know something about basketball. Big week for basketball this week with a lot of transfers coming in. So things are starting to heat up over there. So if you guys have any questions for us, let us know. Make sure you keep up with us on all the social media platforms and keep doing your dead level best to keep up with us.
Absolutely. Wes, take us home, man.
Yeah, you guys covered everything. Like they said, we're probably going to be dropping 3 episodes this week, including this one. We'll recap the spring game for you guys on Friday, and we'll do our Pod of the People that will be released as well. So we thank you guys, and remember, if you want to get that free hat, I'm going to put that back on Facebook again today, and I'm pretty sure those guys are going to do that over on the Twitter account so that you can remember to just subscribe, you can remember to like, and you can remember to comment. So we really, really appreciate you guys, and we thankful for that. And as always, this is a pod that supports our veterans. So thankful to all you guys out there that serving our country to allow us to do what we do, which is bring you Gator information. We appreciate you guys, spouses, kids, all those who have veterans in their families that serve. So we appreciate you. We thank you, and we salute you all. And as always, is go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators, baby.